Koreans are really ambitious. Almost within 70 years, it used to be a poor country.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, let's work together and let's build a developed country. And look where Korea is today. Of course, that has a lot of drawbacks as well, like working too much and then pushing yourself too much. So if you manage to find the balance, I think that's the best.
I'm still amazed by them. I'm still like looking at Koreans and thinking, what an amazing people and so hardworking.
So you met these nice people back in England, and then you decided to come to an exchange semester to Korea, and then you applied for it. And like in this whole process of coming to Korea, what was the most difficult? What was the most challenging?
I guess like preparation before it, you have to leave everything, what to pack, because I never lived like in another country alone before. Because I was like 20 years old at that time. So I was quite nervous, like visa, bank account, like all these different things. And then actually flying by myself for like 12 hours all the way to South Korea.
Did you have any help in creating a bank account or applying for visa?
Yeah. My Korean friends helped me a lot.
Yeah.
The ones I actually met in the church back at England. So I think that was a big help for me. But yeah, language also, because if you know Korean, then you're back in England, you can switch back to English easily because people know English in England, of course. But in Korea, sometimes people don't know English and then you feel lost. And then you feel like, oh, what did they say? You feel so lost. And I think the first few months are hard to get used to it.
Was the language the hardest part after you came here, or were there other things that you were struggling with?
I think language part was a hard one. Also, I think it's hard to make friends in university, in your classroom. I thought, Koreans they're very nice people. And, I made so many friends in England. But when I came to Sangkyunghwan University and I was in a class full of Koreans, it was quite difficult to mix in. Especially with Koreans who never went abroad.
Okay. So how did you feel? Like, do you remember any specific events where you felt, I don't belong here, or like I'm different?
Yeah. So in my classroom, I was just like, say greeting 안녕하세요 to someone. Just try to, get to know my classmate. They just say 안녕하세요, and then they just turn to their friend and just speak Korean.
I see.
I guess they're afraid of speaking English.
Was the class in English or was the class in English?
All in English. But I think Koreans are good at listening, but when they speak, they're quite nervous.
Yeah, I think Koreans have these really high standards that they only speak if they can speak perfectly. And we in Europe, we're pretty much used to like, we don't have to speak perfectly because we just want to be understood. And anyways, there are like so many international people in Europe, but Korea is still kind of like isolated. So I kind of understand that.
Yeah.
And were you the only foreigner in your class?
No, I wasn't the only. Well, some classes I was, some no. But I think foreigners like to stick together. But I was more like, I want to meet Korean. I'm in Korea.
Yeah, I remember when we met, like you wore this Korean makeup and Korean style clothes and Korean style hairstyle. And then you were speaking in Korean. I was like, if I wouldn't see you, I thought that you were Korean.
Thank you. But yeah, I think like for me, I was like more interested. I think foreigners found it hard. So they stick together. But I was like, well, I can meet foreigner friends back in UK. I really want to experience like Korean culture. So I tried really hard and I did succeed making some friends in the classroom.
What did you try? Like, how did you try
just
to come
speaking,
closer to them?
Just like asking something or, try to speak Korean.
Wow, nice.
Try to really, and then I joined some societies like CCC, like Christian Society. People were really nice and I joined swimming society and made some good friends in here.
You were a swimmer in the past, right? Like a pro runner and swimmer.
Before. But in Korea I also did swimming and went to competition, which was nice.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
With the team. And I think in Korea, once you're in the classroom, people don't talk a lot. But once you're in a club, like sports club, people actually open up and are interested in talking to you.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great tip for those who want to make Korean friends.
Definitely. Yeah. I think joining the club or some community is a big thing, because I think Koreans want to talk to people who have the same interests. And they feel more comfortable asking questions or, bringing up the topic.
I think that's the same everywhere, like no matter where you go and if you're a foreigner there. So I moved from Romania to Austria, and then anywhere you go, people already have their friends groups. So it's not so easy to integrate and then be part of that group because they have their own history. So I think we really need to make some effort to build up relationships from scratch. That's really cool, very inspiring.
Yeah, as an intern, if you just move to another country, you don't have your friends group. So you need to make the effort and, try to interact with people. Yeah.
So what else did you try to fit into this Korean society?
Well, basically just talk and try to join different clubs and really get out of my comfort zone and try and talk to people. I think that was the most.
What was your fashion, Korean style fashion or makeup? Was it something intentional, or was it just something that you were oh, I really like it and I just want to wear it?
I really like it, and I'm quite interested in fashion, Korean fashion especially. So yeah, I did research a little bit or look at the, YouTube or something, how to pair the clothes, how to do makeup.
Yeah, I also made that effort, especially at the beginning. I came here and I was also very different, and so I really wanted to fit in, and I have pretty curly hair, and so I straightened my hair, and I tried to look more like a Korean, because in the beginning I had my European clothes and it always felt it just wasn't fitting. Or I had, for example, a t-shirt that had a really low cut, and everybody else in Korea, they had t-shirts up until your neck. So I just threw away everything and I bought new clothes. But at some point, I realized that I don't need so hard to fit in. I don't need to try so hard to fit in, because I'm a foreigner. I will always be a foreigner, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And since then, I think it was a year ago, because I had my love and hate relationships. I've been living in Korea for 4 years now. And many times I really wanted to run away. I was bye Korea, I'm going. But I think now Korea and me are in a good place. And I think one of the points was that I just accepted that I'm different, and that's good that I'm different. And people just accept me as I am.
Yeah, that's great. I think in Korea you always will be a foreigner. You can't change your face. You can be best in Korean, you can be fluent, but people still see you as a foreigner, and that's okay.
That's true.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, many friends of mine, especially women, foreigner women, they have this experience that there's this older ajoshi, older Korean guy, and then you're in the subway, and then they look at you, and then they look at you, and then they look at you. But it's not that they don't mean it in a negative way. They're just curious. Did you have those experiences?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But I think they're just curious because they don't see Western too many times. I don't think they mean it in a negative way.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of I kind of feel with them, because there was COVID. So during COVID, there were not so many foreigners in Korea. And also in my area where I live, there are no foreigners. I was the only one. So during these 2-3 years of COVID, I got used to Korean faces so much that after COVID, once I went to Hongdae, where there are a lot of tourists. And I was like, what are these foreigners doing here? Why did they come to Korea? Why they are so different? So I was like, oh, wait, you're not a Korean. I kind of understand how they feel.
Yeah, definitely. I think there are a lot of foreigners nowadays, even in neighborhood where I'm staying right now. Yeah,
even in my neighborhood, actually.
Yeah, so many foreigners these days. I think more people are interested in Korea.
True.
And the interest will will grow.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like when we were preparing for the interview, then you said, like, what would you advise your 10-year-old self? And you said it's just to be self-confident and accept that you're different. And I think in your life journey, when you moved from Lithuania to England, then again you were different there, and then you moved to Korea. So I think that's a very inspiring message. I don't know what your experiences were, or like why did you advise yourself exactly that?
I think like not being afraid to make a change is the best thing, because I think many people live on autopilot sometimes. When you get into a workplace, you just work, or just continue your life. And I think it's good to realize I want to do something different, or there is something else that makes me happy. I think just staying comfortable is not the best way, especially for me, because if you just stay comfortable and live the same life, after 10 years, you will look back and say, I wish I did this. I wish I did this.
Yeah.
So I think it's, you shouldn't be afraid to make a change, even if it sounds scary, or, you don't want to do that. Maybe you're going to move away from your family or your friends. It's a scary thing to do. But I think it's worth it at the end. You look back and you say, I'm glad I did it. I don't regret. And even if you regret it, I mean, you can always learn from it.
Yeah, I see why you and Korean culture fit so well together, because Koreans are really ambitious, and you're also an ambitious person.
Oh, thank you.
So I think Koreans also the ones that, like I was so amazed how like, almost within 70 years it used to be a poor country, and then they were like, okay, let's work together and let's build up a rich country, developed country, and look where Korea is today. So I think that part kind of fits you and fits me in a sense. Of course, that has a lot of drawbacks as well, like working too much and pushing yourself too much. So if you manage to find the balance, I think that's the best.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I think Koreans are amazing people, and the way they work, the way they do things, I think I'm still amazed by them. I'm still like looking at Koreans and thinking, what an amazing people, and so hardworking.
So now you're planning to come back again. So you were here in 2020, and then you moved back to England.
Yeah.
And now you're planning to come back to Korea again.
Yeah. And I keep visiting Korea. So I went last year, I came this year.
We're very happy that you're here right now. So
thank you. It's good timing. But I really want to move here. I think traveling is good, but I think it's not enough for me. So I want to really move here one day.
What is the biggest reason, except your boyfriend, why you want to move to Korea? Why Korea?
I just love Korean culture, and food is amazing, of course. Even in London, I eat Korean food almost every day.
Oh, really? Wow.
If you go to London, there is Korean towns in there, Korean supermarkets, Korean everything.
Wow.
I think like in London, there are so many Koreans these days. We have many like Korean shops, even skincare shops. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I think London is okay for me.
If you have it in London, you don't have to come here, right?
But I think it's different still. Yeah. It's still different. Like, I think Korea is, London is still England. There are Korean parts, but obviously it's British culture.
Yeah.
So I think Korea would be fit for me because of the culture, food. And then I just love using Korean language.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's like more emotional than English. I just love how it sounds. Even before I couldn't understand Korean, but I was listening and I was enjoying. When you watch drama with subtitles, I was like, I wish I could understand what they actually say about subtitles. So everything really.
Nice.
If I had a chance, I would love to study and work in here.
Can you even imagine working at a Korean company? Yeah, probably that it's pretty different to work in England as in Korea. So now you're here in Korea for a few weeks. So you could take like 2.5 weeks holiday. In Korea, my friends are really struggling even like taking 1 week holiday. So like there are less holidays, working hours are pretty long. You have to do a lot of yagun, which means like
overtime.
late hours. Are you okay with that?
I think I'm okay in certain extent. I think I'm more towards international companies, which I heard there are quite a few in Korea. So I think working hours are long. I mean, it's hard, but I would search for international, maybe more company, because I do enjoy my work-life balance. I do like to do things outside of work. So it's quite important part of my life. So I don't want to work to consume the whole life, which is important to me. So I think I would, search for a solution. Maybe international company or something like that. Or do my own business.
Oh, nice.
Something like that. Because I think if you trapped in the company and work really, really long hours, I think it just consumes your life, which I don't want it to work to become my life.
Yeah. I think we are very similar in that aspect too. When I came to Korea, I didn't want to get employed at a Korean company. I'm also more starting my own business, and but I understood. So at the beginning, I judged a lot this Korean work culture. There's even a term. It's called K 직원. It's like K employee. They do everything for work. For example, I have a really good friend of mine. She's working at a law firm, and she has 8 days a year as holiday. And if she gets sick, she needs to use from those 8 days. But she still loves it. And why she loves it is because her life vision and mission and the companies match. And because of that, I understand that she puts in long work hours and she really likes it. But if the two don't match, then you feel like you have to work long hours, but you actually don't want to. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you, and definitely. 8 days sounds really scary.
Don't worry, your international company will be better.
We have 25 days in UK. We have 25 days a year.
I know.
So 8 days sounds really scary.
Yeah, no, it's a law firm, so it's not the general.
Usually get 2 weeks, I think, in Korea, as I heard.
Yeah, I think it depends on the company and the company policy. But about this nunchi. So one of my friends, we were like, okay, let's go for a long weekend to nearby island, Mariana Islands. And she's like, but it's right before Chuseok, and Chuseok will be a long holiday. So maybe I cannot take a day off now because my boss would not like it. So it's just all in your head trying to calculate what are the unwritten rules, basically. Yeah, well, the work culture is slowly changing as well. The younger Koreans, they have a different mindset. Yeah. So I think you don't have to worry about that. Anyways, you're a type of a person who makes her own way, so I'm also not worried about you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this talk.